Hell Ranger 1 versus 5, and this is going to be Velocity Gaming winning TEC Challenger Series.
The clock is ticking down. Velocity can feel it. Velocity have done it. 3-2. They take the grand finals and are your undisputed champions.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the LG Ultragear TEC Challenger Series 3. Powered by Ideapad Gaming and AMD, we have ACT as our fiber partner and AFK Gaming as our media partner. We're back with the second half. Today is the quarterfinals of the lower bracket. My name is Apollonia. I'll be your host and caster. And joining me today, you know him, it is CA, caster and analyst. How are you feeling?
I'm really excited for this matchup. I think both teams are really close in terms of skill. So I'm excited to see who's going to come up on top today.
All right, before we begin the action, I have a few announcements to make. Remember, there is a massive sale on LG monitors, and Series 4 registrations are live. All links are in the description. And while you are watching, you can stand a chance to win up to 200 Valorant points. All you got to do is keep a lookout for Nightbot in the chat for further instructions. So, on to the game today. We have PARATROOPS versus THANE Peak. Both two teams that we are very familiar with. Let's move over to the map screen and see what we have in store for this best of three. So for map number 1, it is going to be Ascent, and map 2 is Bind, map 3 Haven. So let's start with map number 1 here, CA. It was picked by PARATROOPS. How do you think this matchup is going to go between both the teams?
I'm really curious about the map Ascent because the last time we saw THANE Peak actually was against Exili, and they looked surprisingly really strong against Exili, knowing how strong Exili are on Ascent. Now THANE Peak, they're back into the lower bracket facing up against Paratroops on Ascent, picked by Paratroops. So for the side of Paratroops, I'm looking to some sort of a strategy to come into play here because I think just straight up going into game against THANE Peak might end up like being backfiring on them, given the fact that THANE Peak, they have that slightly earlier sort of practice and experience on this stage. But Paratroops, they've been an explosive new team so far in Series 3. They have the X Factors like Binks, so really cool to see which team is going to come up on top.
Indeed, and here we are ready with the action. We can get right into it. And this time, THANE Peak, they will be starting on the side of defense and PARATROOPS on the side of attack. We can see everyone is very much ready. Surprisingly, we do see killjoys on both sides. I like it a lot. I felt that, ever since the release of this agent, we haven't quite seen it enough, because Cypher has always been mingling around. But nonetheless, how do you feel about the overall team composition? They're very much similar.
Yeah, very similar team compositions. The biggest difference, of course, being the Jet versus the Reyna. Reyna on Strix is what I'm really curious about because we've seen Glyph previously play the Duelist, and on the other hand, we see Edit99 play the Killjoy, but now Edit99 is on the Sova and Glyph on the Killjoy, letting Strix play this Reyna. Paratroops, they are on the attack, so they have to try to make this mark early for them, get that exclusive number of rounds, try to reach that magic number and beyond. And Bing starting it off perfectly, getting the first blood for himself. Paratroops just swarming onto A site. Mamba now looking for the plant, will get it and get site control.
Indeed, the spike has been planted, and there it is. Ghost will pick up Glyph, and the spike is taking the defenders. What they gonna do? Binks finds his second kill onto Pegachill, and it's down to a 3v3. Mamba shot down to low health, but Ghost will win that duel and take down Strix. 2v3 situation. THANE Peak, it's not looking bright for them. Last two members are alive now. It's down to Miracle with 11 HP, but Edit 999 will take him down, and the first round goes over to PARATROOPS.
So for paratroops, I'm really curious to see how they use this difference of having the Reyna over the Jet, because the biggest utility that you get from the Reyna that you don't get from the Jet is the flash of the Reyna. What this enables you to do, especially on the attacking side, is look for mid controls. So many times we've seen Reyna players just continuously throughout the Lear to enable their team to push into mid, and we know how important mid control can be on Ascent. So I'm looking to paratroops to see if they can do that. Jet, on the other hand, though, brilliant for peeking mid and dashing out, so it's a question of who executes better. Now, Paratroops pushing on to be in the eco round of THANE Peak.
I do believe that parents pushed to the round to the lower bracket from the round of 16, but here they are just showing their dominance here. Strix and Glyph both finding a kill for themselves, and THANE Peak a little bit of a struggle. They were pushed out like what you mentioned by XCD Esports here in the quarterfinals, so it's really up to both these teams to make this best of 3 work. And meanwhile, Edit 999 will find a double kill onto THANE Peak. Last man standing will be that killjoy, and this is Strix. Edit, they're looking for the last man, but THANE Peak, you know, they were expected to lose this round because they did go for that eco, and paratroops just keeping the rest of their team alive and healthy. It's good for them actually that they haven't lost a single member. They'll be able to just maintain their economy in a better position.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think now at this stage of competition, we have like about 12 teams left. It's really important that you get lose not more than one member on your buy rounds. Paratroop doing just that. They do lose Binks. He goes down to Anais, but 4 members is really good. They'll be able to maintain their buys. What I'm really what I find really cool is that actually both of these teams ended up getting sent to the lower bracket by Exili Esports. It was first Paratroops and then THANE Peak very recently. So it's a question of how both of the teams have adapted to their experience in the upper bracket, because both of these teams very new to this stage and very new to the pressure that comes with it. Is going to become which team is able to, over a long period of time, run that marathon and come out on top.
Indeed, we're now going to go into the buy round, and this is where it really matters. Will THANE Peak be able to hold off in defense against Paratroops, who have a little bit of a lead there? And there it is. Binks will take first blood onto Ghost. And we do see the attackers. They are looking for that mid control. Omkar, he'll be the next in line. Together with Miracle, THANE Peak with this rotation will prove useful. And this is Anais just hiding in Winery, and this will be a good one. Anais will pick up Edit, and THANE Peak, they find themselves with even ground. Not until Strix did take down Miracle there on the middle side of the map. It's down to the last 3 from the side of THANE Peak, but Paratroops looking strong. They're going for this rotation here. Pikachu sprays out of his mind. 30 HP. He's got to be careful here. He does pick up a kill, but Strix is there for the return. Last 2 members on the side of defense. They've got to scramble. Omkar falls, and it's down to Anais once again. A little bit of deja vu. The last member standing.
So the way Ascent is set up is that mid control not only enables you to get into both sides, but also enables you to deny rotations from the other teams. You see Paratroops, even though they tried to go A at first, they're stopped by Anais. They're able to immediately rotate back to B using the fact that they have mid control. Now with the spike planted, Anais, he's gonna go for the save. This was the buy round for the side of THANE Peak, and the fact that they're not able to pull it through on the defensive side really gonna hurt them. So that save really important. They need all the economy they can get. Going back to this round in itself, the way it progressed, I really like that Paratroops, they're following the script, as in they're following the script of their composition. You see the Omen Dark cover come out to cover the mid angle, then you see the Reyna Lear come out to enter into mid, and then they pushed in from there using Binks' blast packs to just blast in. What I want to see from THANE Peak though is you have to expect this. Like, I think every viewer is expecting this, so you have to try to counter this by either putting the Killjoy abilities down at mid or like pushing in aggressively yourself. So I'm curious to see what THANE Peak will do in the coming rounds.
Indeed, you know, Paratroops, when you talk about following the script, they did wait for that one pickoff, and Binks being that duelist, he was able to get that. And, you know, for actually these past 3 rounds, Binks, he has managed to get the first kill of the round. So, you know,
Yep.
he is a key component for Paratroops. And then you start to see all the attackers just kind of move into position. You know, they go through mid, they go for the site that they want, they will rotate together. But Strix will be taking down Anais. And THANE Peak, they find themselves a man down, another equal round for them, which I do think is actually a really good idea. Edit here will take down Omkar, and THANE Peak down to 2 members. They should look to find at least a couple of kills if they can. Mamba, meanwhile, is on the B side. He will get that spike planted. So these defenders, Miracle finds a kill, and so does Edit. And Miracle with the double here on the Ghost, but not going to be a third time as Strix will find him. Last member standing will be Ghost.
Ghost picks up that Oni Phantom for himself, puts himself in a 1v3 situation, has 15 armor, 95 health, so not much to boot. Gets Binks down though, makes a 1v2 situation, goes, this is the eco round, so if he can get even one more kill, it's just a lot of damage. If he can clutch it, it will be a huge Swifty round. Now Ghost moving in through market, looking for a couple players, will find Strix right here, looks for the wall back, instead runs out of bullets. Strix with the triple will take him down, and the way this round started, like you see, THANE Peak, they understand exactly what I wanted from them. All 5 of them push aggressively through mid, use the grenade from Miracle to sort of enable that push. But the problem with that was all 5 of them push through mid. There's nobody covering either sides. And PARATROOPS was like, okay, yeah, you take mid, we'll take your side. Thanks, bye-bye.
Yeah, you know, overall, it kind of looks like PARATROOPS is just a little bit more organized when it comes to moving together as a squad, as a contingent. So for THANE Peak, they have to mimic something like that. They got to be a little bit quick on their feet, and you know, communication is going to help you understand which angles are covered and where the enemies can be potentially. Let's just pull up the scoreboard real quick and see who's doing really well here on the side of attack. And there it is, Strix leading. Well, Edit has 6 kills as well. But you know, Anais from the side of THANE Peak, you know, the last time when we saw these defenders, Anais was consistently there for the defense. And I do hope to see a little bit of Killjoy magic, but the attack is going to be on the B side instead, and Anais will have to rotate. This is Binks with the showstopper. It doesn't pick up the kill, so the man in the boathouse will be safe, but Strix will find that kill onto Pegachill. And the spike has been planted. Now, the defenders, they've got to go for this retake 4v5. Man down. Not a good situation at all for THANE Peak. But they're going to take this one step at a time. Goes with the operator. And here goes the paranoia. It's not going to connect, but the shot misses. And Strix will find goals. Binks chimes in, takes down Anais. THANE Peak down to the 2 members left. And Omkar will find a kill before he goes down. And Miracle picks up 1. But that's going to be Glyph. And they get all. But yeah, as I mentioned, you know, PARATROOPS just looks a lot more coordinated. I felt that, you know, all the members just bunched up in the boathouse. THANE Peak could figure out a way to, you know, kind of work hand in hand to pick up these kills, but I don't think it was really very effective, considering that some of their members were still kind of lingering around.
The thing is, THANE Peak, when we saw them yesterday, they excelled when you gave them a chance to just sort of recollect and then go on retakes. They were really good on retakes. They were really good in situations where the fight was drawn out. PARATROOPS, they're not giving them a second to think. What I wanted from PARATROOPS coming into this map was like a sort of inbuilt strategy, a game plan that they can execute, and they have that on point. Oh!
What?
That's how you throw a spanner into a game plan. Wow.
That one tap, that was spicy, but THANE Peak, we want to see more of that coming out, but PARATROOPS, you know, they are showing massive dominance here. This is going to be Ghost with the daggers, not going to finish off that kill. Strix will pick him up. Omkar with the 3rd kill. He is stepping up massive this time, and this is exactly what THANE Peak needs. 4th kill for Omkar as he's going to back away, but wow, that was massive, and he might just find the ace, but Edit stops his rampage. 2v1 situation. And the spike is being heavily guarded by that Raze here on the side of defense. But massive round for Omkar.
Omkar just single-handedly went to PARATROOPS. He's like, give me your plan. I'm gonna throw it into the dustbin because just pure skill coming out of Omkar, that one tap is just, it's not supposed to happen. Edit though, gets the kill onto Miracle with 30 seconds left. He has enough time to go get the spike and look for the plant or for the kill. And it might just end up clutching this. Will not happen because Pegachill will find him first. Thrifty round for THANE Peak. This is how you get the momentum going and start to fight back, because on their defense side, you really cannot afford to give up more than 6 rounds to PARATROOPS.
Indeed, you know, that this round that just went by, THANE Peak, they just, wow, Omkar just picking up that 4K was absolutely insane. But they can't just rely on that. Every member has to perform. You have it will get to a point where, you know, PARATROOPS, they're not going to get caught out like that again. So, you know, this round, it will be a test, and we do see that the op will be on Anais, I believe. this will be actually a really interesting one. We see the dark covers coming out. Paratroops looking to invade the B side, but knowing them, anything can happen. They could opt for the rotation. Now THANE Peak, they did get their first round. The lockdown is put by Paratroops. Strix will find the double kill, just coming in heavy. Not happy that they lost that last round. Paratroops on the dominance here, but Omkar will find that op shot onto Binks. And, sorry, Ghost will not actually connect that shot. Sorry, I got a little bit confused there. But the spike has been planted. 3v4 situation. Paratroops, three members are on site, but we do see the Reyna lingering and market. Here comes the Hunter's Fury. Anais picks up a kill. Meanwhile, on Strix, you see the teleport come in from the Omen. And it's just going to be slow and easy, but time is ticking for these defenders here.
The Killjoy ultimate coming out from Anais could end up being really clutch here, because now Paratroops, they either have to leave or funnel into Boathouse. Really perfect. They're making a stand though. Edit getting the kill onto Omkar. Edit will get taken down by Ghost. 2v2 situation. Both players detained. Anais with the Boggers ultimate will get the round for them. Despite time barely running out, with just a couple seconds left, he should be able to do it. Oh my god.
What was that round? Paratroops actually bought enough time and the spike went boom, and that is exactly what you want to do when you're on the side of attacking. If you know everything is over, just play around with your lives. And unfortunately, you know, THANE Peak, they couldn't find the kills quick enough. But Paratroops, that was a really good round for them. I mean, insane. That lockdown actually managing to detain the players, but it actually bought time. That was just bad. But, you know, I'm happy that this kind of happened. You know, it is the quarterfinals and the lower bracket. Everything is riding on this best of 3 because either team that loses, they will officially be eliminated from this Challenger Series 3. So, you know, we can see that they are playing out of their minds. Paratroops, though, very dominant with this 5-round lead. And I love to see it.
Yeah, it's amazing to see a team just make a stand in that sort of situation. Like, we know the numbers, we know we'll be able to buy enough time. Anais, though, with the Sheriff, just playing aggressively down is short, able to get that kill onto Edit. Omkar, as we know with the Sheriff, really good, gets another kill onto Binks, gets returned kill, though, by Glyph, makes it a 4v3 situation. Anais trying to be the one-man fighting squad for THANE Peak right now, looking to push his team to at least a respectable score on the first half. THANE Peak trying their level best, putting everything out there on the line as they rightfully should. Now Glyph on the Killjoy. Killjoy versus Killjoy. Who will come out on top because Glyph gets another kill, makes it 3v2. THANE Peak, they have the advantage with Paratroops. They've clutched in amazing rounds.
Oh, THANE Peak here, 2v1, and that's going to be a thrifty round for THANE Peak. They didn't exactly have those buys, but Anais came in massive here. You know, picking up that first kill with the Sheriff on A-Long and then being able to defend the A site. It was just, you know, when you have a player that can get these multi-kills, something as, you know, what sounds simple as that can actually be huge. And that just led to, you know, a kind of a downward spiral for Paratroops. But they did manage to take down 3 players. So, you know, THANE Peak, they have to continue winning these rounds if they want their economy, you know, to be in good shape. But Paratroops, I think they're still pretty much fine. And here it is. Yep, they will be able to get those full buys. Unfortunately for Glyph, light armors, and this round will matter a lot for the attackers. Let's see what they are going to be able to pull off here.
It'll be a really interesting round because while Paratroops not wholly affected, they are down to their last very credits they need to make this round work. The interesting thing for me though is THANE Peak, they have 2 rounds so far. Both of those rounds were thrifty rounds. So if THANE Peak can just clean up the act a little bit in the buy rounds, they would go really far. Ghost doing just that, getting the 2 opening kills. Miracle with the third. The duelist really stepping up here.
Oh wow, Paratroops, last man standing. And he's getting sprayed at. Pangachil will find the last blow. Looks like a little bit of a momentum shift here in favor of THANE Peak as they look to fight these rounds consecutively. But yeah, this round here, I do feel that it kind of went by pretty quick. And yeah, and Paratroops, you know, just kind of got caught off guard. You know, Ghost picking up this double. That was just huge. And then Miracle chiming in. It's almost like, you know, THANE Peak, they kind of had a taste of what Paratroops can do. And they know what to expect. So, you know, in this case, THANE Peak should continue what they're doing, you know, predicting the moves. But as for Paratroops, they have to change it up just a little bit. And I think this push here for the B side, they have to be a little bit more creative than just running through mid as well. They might want to spread out their attack. That's going to be Edit finding the kill on both. It was a 1-for-1 trade here. And now just repositioning himself, but Pinks is going to come in with a showstopper. And THANE Peak finding multiple kills. Last man standing is Edit. He's going to take down Pegachill. 1v2 situation.
So THANE Peak, they're doing exactly what I would like them to do in a situation like this. When a team like Paratroops is continuously pushing into either your site or mid, what you want to do is try to push in a different direction, get the dual win there, and then swarm around that team. THANE Peak doing exactly that because they've got the time and experience to understand how Paratroops is playing. I think, as you said, Paratroops, they need to do just that. They need to try to switch up their strategy a little bit, understand that THANE Peak countering to what they're doing is starting to play really aggressively, even on the defensive side. So all you need to do really is wait. Spread out all your players into all your entry points and wait. Now, 1v2 situation, just 30 seconds left. Erit, the only person standing for the side of Paratroops, has a spike on him and has managed to sneak himself all the way into B side. We'll get the plant off, but will he be able to get this clutch? We'll just have to see. Edit in a 1v2 situation with Miracle really low, this might just be, once again, a momentum shift for either team.
I mean, if the members on the side of Paratroops are relaying the communication, he should know that Miracle is pretty low. This is going to be Edit, but Ananias takes him out very quickly with that headshot on the Phantom. And this round will go over to THANE Peak. They have finally picked up the pace. They kind of understand what they have to do here on the side of defense. And it's not going so well for Paratroops, but, you know, Paratroops, they still have that lead, but THANE Peak, they're on the right track. You know, overall, I feel that both these teams are actually pretty even. I think we're going to see some really close games, and especially here on Ascent, because given the history of either these teams playing on Ascent, they've always been doing well. We have seen some brilliant plays in our highlights coming out from these teams. So, you know, in this first half, 4-6 in this scoreline. You know, just a couple more and we will go into the second half. I can totally understand why it's just this close. But Ananias is just coming out mad here on the side of defense. You know, always finding these frags and being able to, you know, stay unpredictable and picking up all those kills. That's going to be Strix finding Ghost. THANE Peak this time will lose a member first. Looks like Paratroops might have an idea. Ananias evens out the playing field. And it's down to this 4v4 where Paratroops isn't going to rush this time. They're going to take a little bit more time and patience to approach this attack, and Strix is just going to back away.
I love it. It feels like the teams have some sort of psychic connection with what I want for them to do. Because exactly when I wanted THANE Peak to play aggressive, they do that. Now I want Paratroops to take a step back, spread themselves out, look for the duels, and they're doing exactly that. I mean, it just goes to show, like, both of these teams are really top-tier teams. They understand what it takes to be one of the best, if not the best, in the region, and that's why they're able to pull off such optimal plays. Now, 4v4 situation, Paratroops, even though they went from 6-1 to 6-4, they will be eventually happy with that 6-round scoreline on the attack, but it's about making it better. It's about getting that edge, especially on the home map, and Paratroops looking to do that with a push onto A side. Oh my god.
Ananias with the 4K! What is that defense? Ananias is definitely on fire. That was what THANE Peak needed. 4K. It was a really rushed push coming out from Paratroops. I do believe they still had a little bit of time and they didn't quite check all the corners, and Ananias just sat there taking head after head. Wow, that just brings a total of 5 rounds for THANE Peak. And this means that, you know, we're going to go into the last round before the swap, and it could potentially be a 7-5 or a 6-6. And I don't know, it can go either way, but I am living for this here, CA. And we do see this last round, everyone has got full buys. Miracle has the ultimate in hand, but Strix is actually going to catch him off guard. And now Paratroops, they do have this advantage. Let's see how they will take this to secure 7 rounds for them if it is possible.
Either way, I think Paratroops, they will be happy with the scoreline, but what they won't be happy with is a tempo shift in losing in such a fashion. THANE Peak on a 4-game win streak right here, looking to push it to 5. THANE Peak now with the edit will pull out the Hunter's Fury, get the kill onto Anais. Anais has been on point, and what's more important is that now he can't use the swarm grenades he's set up because he's dead. Paratroops in this last round looking to end the momentum for THANE Peak through their win streak and pull it back for themselves going into the next half.
You see this massive rotation coming in from Paratroops. As they are running all the way to the B side, they are still going to go for this. Last two members on the side of THANE Peak, they might have just dropped the ball here the last round of the first half. Pegachill will come through market, probably take this metal door down, and this is Omar with the ultimate. He could come in big, but Edit takes it out, and it's looking a little bit dim, but Pegachill is going to launch the Hunter's Fury, and that is a little bit of a brave move. Pegachill almost lost his life there, but 1v4 situation, it's a tough ask, and Strix takes him down, and the first half ends with a scoreline of 7-5 in favor
Switching
of
sides.
Paratroops.
7-5 is humongous in so many aspects. One, because you got an attacking side start lead for on your home map itself. I expect Paratroops to be like much more comfortable on the defense, especially on Ascent. They can choose to play aggressive, they can choose to play cautious. They have all the options for themselves, and when a team like Paratroops has the options is when they really excel. Not only is it good because of that, but the fact that they're able to stop THANE Peak's win streak and make sure that THANE Peak doesn't have overflowing amount of momentum going into the second half means that they go into the second half 7-5, momentum completely reset, and a chance for both teams to try to pull it back in their favor in this second half. Paratroops on the defense. Now with the Reyna for utility, I'm going to look to Ghost to see what sort of plays he can pull off, because Ascent's known as a jet map, but you really need to be on point to pull it off as a jet map.
Indeed, the stakes are really high, but here we are in the pistol round, and THANE Peak now on the side of attack. Paratroops defending. It's going to be Glyph taking out the recon bow, but we see a little bit of a push or ruckus here on a long, but that is going to be THANE Peak pulling it back. They're creating that noise, and I think they're trying to force a rotate, which actually worked because 3 defenders are on A, and here is a full-on attack on the B side. Only Edit is here. He's firing away, and he will pick up Ghost, but Anais comes in from the side, picks up one. Strix will find Pegachill. THANE Peak left with only 3 members. They did a massive bit of bamboozling, but they've got to get the frags and stop falling to the side of defense. Strix will find Onkar. That's going to be the 3rd kill for Strix onto Anais, and Paratroops with a brilliant retake. They are taking out the attackers one by one. Miracle will be the 4th person to fall to Strix, and that round will go over to Paratroops. But that was really quick defense. You see, I like two very different things. You see, THANE Peak, they created noise with 2 members on the side of A, but then they ultimately were going to push B. You know, it's kind of to lure the defenders to go for an early rotate, you know, try to force them into anticipation. But the way Paratroops came around with the rotation and how they had that retake, Strix just lost his mind and picked up all these kills. That was just absolutely mad. And when you have players that have the ability to do this, you are a force to be reckoned with. I think THANE Peak might have to think this through just a little bit more.
Yeah, Paratroops were excellent on the retake. Even though they get bamboozled by THANE Peak, they come in really strong, able to get the site back. Now on the eco round for THANE Peak, Paratroops playing really aggressive, knowing that they have the weapons advantage. Binks forces Anais into a corner and then throws in a grenade for extra measure, takes him down easy. Now Binks back to the door, holding it down, gets 2, gets 3, brings out his ghost. Will not support Binks! Oh my god, what a round!
Binks, hold it down, Binks! What was that? Oh my goodness, that was a massive play, Binks. That 4K, he had to swap out the pistol even, CA.
Wow. I mean, it's just brilliant. Like, this is what I'm talking about. I think Paratroops on defense, they have so many options in the way they want to play. They, in general, are a very aggressive team that likes to take a proactive fight to their opponent. Brinks does just that. Even on their defense, they're doing just that. What I want to see from THANE Peak is what I saw from them in the latter half of the first half, in where they understand how Paratroops play and then counter them at it. They've lost the first 2 rounds, and this going into the next round, it is their bye round. It is their chance to pull back some of the momentum, but Paratroops on their home map of Ascent, they just look unassailable.
Indeed, you know, it's almost like the momentum shifts are kind of bouncing between both teams, because we saw THANE Peak have a little bit of a glimpse of that, then Paratroops, and now this round here, Paratroops losing 2 members right off the bat is just not going to be really good for them. And, you know, we saw what happens once THANE Peak finds a little bit of momentum. When they have the opponents figured out, they kind of just, go through with it. But hey, this side swap, THANE Peak has to make the offensive side here on the side of attack really work for themselves. Now, 3 members left. The spike has yet to be planted, but we see the teams just moving in. It's going to be a plant for the A side. Will Paratroops be ready? Omkar and Strix both find a kill for themselves, but that still leaves it to a 4v2. Looking pretty impossible for Paratroops here. THANE Peak. That's going to be Ghost taken down by Strix.
30
And
seconds
he
left.
might just do it once again. Strix is definitely on a rampage here. And he's going to move very slowly, but the spike is on B. And
Spike planted.
Pagachill will secure that plant.
THANE Peak played this round really, really well, waiting patiently for the pickoffs. Anais, you can see here waiting patiently in mid, looking to pick off the rotations. Picks off one, but gets taken down by Strix. Now Strix, Reyna, a feast or famine champion, and Strix so far, he's been feasting this match. Throws out the Leer, pushing into side. THANE Peak with really good post-line position. Strix though with the fourth. Strix looking for the ace and the clutch. Will get the intangible and walk right out. Time running out. Strix, he needs to go for this. Look for the ace. Has a Leer, throws it out, but Omkar pushes in on time, will take him down. And that will be the buy now going for THANE Peak. But PARATROOPS didn't invest at all, and THANE Peak lost 4. And while they should be very happy that they got the round, that was an expensive round.
Indeed. Oh my goodness. Strix, yeah. Wow. We'd love to see Reyna. And, Reyna as an agent, we see it pick a lot in the earlier stages of the tournament. And not so much in the later stages, with the exception of, a couple of times out of, like, a huge number of games. But when we see a Reyna, especially, like, how Strix is, pulling off all these multi-kills, exactly what a Reyna needs to do. Her job is to pick up frags, and the rest of the team, you guys figure out what you're going to do with that kind of team, And that's
Yep.
going to be Binks here, finding the first kill onto Anais. Paratroops, they always seem to find the upper hand very early rounds, but THANE Peak, they've got to look for a way to bring it back into their favor instead. And as we see this match progress, both these teams, they're taking these rounds a lot slower than usual. Now, Ghost, he was one of the players that really, kind of took the hearts of a lot of the audience the last time around when we saw him. He was performing out of his mind, and I would love to see Ghost just, pop off that way, because that's what we remember THANE Peak for. But that's going to be Ghost just dashing in, and Glyph will pick up the kill on him. THANE Peak, not a very strong round for them, as Paratroops are closing down. Glyph and Mamba ends it off, and that's going to be double digits for the defenders.
Troops on that defense look so strong, and this is what I meant, because even though Paratroops lost the last round, from the previous round, they hadn't actually made as much investment. Most of them had the Spectres going into round 3, and given the fact that even though they lost the round, given the fact that they got 4 kills on Strict, all of them are able to afford buys this round, and that just comes out huge, because you see, they're able to hold down, they're able to win the individual duels. Glyph especially doing really, really well. Both the Killjoys, they've really shined in this map on their defensive aspect, doing really, really well to hold down their side. Now, THANE Peak, they're trying to switch something up and push into A, but Glyph holding down the angle, takes down Ghost instantly. THANE Peak, though, they're still committing to A.
Indeed. I really like particularly how Glyph took down that 1 kill and repositioned himself. This is going to be Strix finding the kill on Miracle. Glyph is going to find his second. And THANE Peak, it looks like they are starting to crumble as Paratroops look so strong as they reform themselves here on the side of defense. The rotations are in. And the last 2 members, they're going to get sandwiched pretty soon. It is an equal round for THANE Peak, but Paratroops, it's kind of like they've got their enemies figured out. And, this massive 4-round lead here in such a close competition kind of shows that. And Glyph will find a triple. Glyph with the 4K. Flawless round for Paratroops. And 11 points on the scoreboard. THANE Peak, if anything, the time is now to try and bring this back.
Yeah, there is no better time but especially considering that they will be able to afford full buyouts in the next round. But the biggest issue for them that they're facing right now is what do we do? Because you can't really push in mid without a flash. At THANE Peak, they don't really have that flash with the exception of the Omen Paranoia, which by itself you need to enter a site. They can't push into a site because you never know where Killjoy is going to end up, and you're scared of running into those raise grenades. So for THANE Peak, they have to try to make a call and do something like they did in the very first few rounds. Make noise and then bamboozle. Miracle doing just that, getting a kill onto Edit. THANE Peak, they're looking to push into B. The rotation's coming through. Will PARATROOPS stop them? We just have to see.
Binks manages to pick up Ghost, but he's going to be taken down by Omkar. Mamba also finds the kill onto a nice, and this is THANE Peak with the man advantage. However, Miracle is really low, really 10 HP. He does have the showstopper, and this could be a little bit game-changing. The ultimate on the Omen for THANE Peak is also very much ready. That's Omkar, and this is Mamba. I do think that the defenders might actually go for a save and not contest this at all. The spike is ticking, and we can see that Glyph and Mamba, they're just going to take a little bit of a chill pill and stay here on the A side. Save these guns, and, you know, THANE Peak having to win this round. What specifically was different, you think, that they did to be able to, you know, get this round for themselves on the side of attack?
I think the biggest difference was just Miracle getting the opening kill because in previous rounds, time and time again, we saw Binks pushing up that B short, B main angle and able to get that kill onto Anais, and you basically deny that entry altogether once you get that opening kill. This time instead, they recognize the fact that there's one person usually pushing in from PARATROOPS down B main. They go as a squad and they're able to get that opening kill and just open up B side completely for them to push in and not allow PARATROOPS to respond by rotating. That's the sort of play you want to do. That's what I mean. You want to be really, really decisive with how you want to play. If you're looking to push in, you have to push in really fast and really aggressively, because if you give a team like PARATROOPS the time to react, they will react really, really well, and they're excellent on the retake, so it just becomes impossible for you.
And this is going to be Binks with the op this time. Just going to throw a satchel out, but Anais will find the first kill onto Strix this round. And Binks might just want to change up his position there a little bit. The operator, but Miracle sprays out of his mind and will find the pickup onto Binks. Edit there for the turn kill. PARATROOPS, 3-man standing in what looks like a potential shift in momentum once again onto the side of THANE Peak. What will PARATROOPS do in a situation like this, as Glyph is still sticking to his guns here on the side of the A short, and THANE Peak, they are looking for that opportunity to get this spike planted. They are lingering. A short might be the area, and there is the dark cover that comes down. Glyph changing up his position, but we can expect to see THANE Peak making an appearance onto the A side here.
A 4v3 situation. THANE Peak, they made their way onto A side. They will get the spike planted. The Hunter's Fury will come out to try and delay it. Hunter's Fury tags multiple people and it takes one down. Almost gets the other though, will not. Ghost will find a return kill, but Mamba with another will mean that it's a 2v2 situation. Spike still not planted, and PARATROOPS looking to push back. The recon bolt will spot out all of THANE Peak, and the recon drone as well, looking to spam through. Now the counter recon bolt by Pegachil spots out a couple people from PARATROOPS in heaven, and you see them rotating. The Killjoy ultimate will come out from the side of THANE Peak. They know how important this round is for themselves, and they're looking to hold on. But Mamba says no. Mamba finds a kill onto Pegachil, and it will be Edit versus Anais for the round. Anais, top fragger for THANE Peak, comes out huge once again, pulls through that round for them.
Anais is definitely one of the precious stones there for THANE Peak. It is just absolutely nuts how he managed to clutch that one out. And he's done it time and time again on this map number 1 here. He has been able to provide a huge amount of defense, and now on the side of attack, he's the last man standing, manages to pick up the kill just to secure this win here on the round. So it's really well done, and Anais, you know, he really sticks out here on the side of the attackers. So, you know, also about Ascent being picked by PARATROOPS. This is why we can expect that they are doing so well. But we know the strength of THANE Peak, and we can see their potential as they bring the scoreline just a little bit closer. It is indeed really close, but if anything, PARATROOPS should do their best to take this map solely because they picked this one, and the next 2 map picks were picked by THANE Peak.
The thing is, for me, the fact that like both of these teams are relatively new to this like stage of like being in a best of three, being in a double elimination bracket, both of them really new to the high stakes environment that comes through. Given the fact how good both of these teams are on Ascent, I feel like this map ends up being the pivotal map for the entire series. Even if like the losing team is able to reset, I feel like it does affect them to a small extent. So getting that small psychological advantage in this situation where the loser is just out of the tournament, the winner keeps his chance alive and moves forward, that psychological edge can be all the difference. Now, since we're in a small pause timer, I think I like to take a quick look at the scorecard, see how all the members are doing. You see Strix with 25 kills just absolutely popping off right here. Edit not too far behind. For the side of THANE Peak though, it's who you expect. Anais on top. Anais being the miracle that he is for his team right now, with Miracle not too far behind.
The team. But nonetheless, it is going to be the next round that we're going to go into.
Now, you see the side of THANE Peak just playing very slow. Anais lurking down A while the rest of his team pushing into mid. Similarly, for Paratroops, very slowly, very defensively, Strix holding down mid, two members in either side, both teams waiting for the other to make the first move and making sure that they're not caught unaware by the same. THANE Peak, they don't want to make the wrong move. Paratroops, they don't want to make the wrong move, and this is a classic Mexican standoff in such an important round for the economy of both the teams. Full buys for both the teams, all out, and we'll have to see if THANE Peak can push through their momentum forward if Paratroops just end up stopping it. Now, Paratroops, they're choosing to just stick to their positions. THANE Peak though, they're doing the opposite of that. Complete rotation coming through from Anais, no longer lurking in A, moving down to B as THANE Peak, they take control of mid and start pushing into market. THANE Peak looking to commit into B side. Binks will be the first man taking the first blood, takes down Pegachill. Miracle finds the return kill though. The showstopper comes out from this side of Binks, will not hit, and Omkar will take down Edit. THANE Peak, they've made their way into B side. They will get the spike planted. 4v3 situation. THANE Peak looking to push forward their momentum. Now the Killjoy ultimate will come out from the side of Glyph. Paratroops looking for the retake. We've seen how good they can be on the retake, but with just 3 members against the 4, it'll be a really hard task. Anaya is now standing in this corner where he doesn't have to get detained. 0 players detained for the side of Paratroops who made this a really hard task. Goes with 2 and Anais with 1, and THANE Peak take them down instantly, making 9 to 11 for themselves.
And here it is, 9 to 11. You know, the score line is just getting closer and closer and closer. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a good one. Now, for the side of THANE Peak, you know, I think momentum is something that is very important. We have also established that there are some teams that are very, very momentum based. And, you know, I feel that, you know, Paratroops kind of figures out what their opponents can do and then, you know, just go against it. But THANE Peak, they find ways to be very unpredictable in, like, you know, through very small opportunities and in some of the most unique ways, randomly just picking up these multi-kills and catching Paratroops off guard. If they do continue this, they could potentially bring the scoreline actually even. This time we will see that the attackers are taking it a little bit slow, and Pegachill will be watching the spike, but they are looking for somewhat of a bit of mid-control. And this is going to be Anais, the king, but Mamba's going to take him out, and that is going to hurt THANE Peak quite a bit.
5v4 situation. It's Paratroops getting the first kill, and I 100% agree. I feel like Paratroops, they're the sort of team that's very calculated, understands, likes to download the other team and understand how the other team works before they make a particular move. It's either that or it's just Binks flying into the site using multiple blast packs, but since we haven't seen much of the latter, we'll go with the former. THANE Peak, on the other hand, they like to continuously play standard strategies, but put their own sort of lemon twist on it, make it like extra little bit spicy, extra little bit tasty, and that's where they've come up strong. Paratroops, they were able to stop this momentum from THANE Peak in the first half, and they need to do that again. This is a round for it, with THANE Peak planting in B side, and Paratroops with the man advantage. Paratroops, they need to do this retake properly.
Indeed, the time is ticking now for Paratroops as THANE Peak makes a grand entrance onto the B side, and we can see that a lot of them, three of them will be on the side, but Ghost here, watching from B main, picks up the kill, and it will find Miracle, and who will come out victorious from this battle. Glyph takes out Ghost, and that's going to be Omkar and Pagachill left to defend the spike. Omkar will find Strix, but Glyph takes down one, and so does Edit, and this is Paratroops finding match point for themselves here on map number 1 of this best of 3 here in the
You
quarterfinals.
don't deserve my inventions.
It's such an important round as well because this is what exactly what I was talking about.
Match
Like
point.
even in the first half when THANE peaked, they got that 4 to 5 round win streak going for themselves. Paratroops, they put a stop to it, and even though these teams, they seem so close in terms of not just skill but in terms of game sense and like a full on macro gameplay, it is Paratroops who is able to continuously edge out THANE Peak, and I think you have to give credit to them for having chosen this map because they're showing why they wanted Ascent. They perfectly understand Ascent. The rotations with the retakes are always on point. Even this time, you saw multiple angles being approached, one through B main, one through B link from CT, and one from Market, making sure that they're covering every single angle. Now, THANE Peak looking to fight back. Ghost gets a kill. Glyph with the return. It's 4v4.
It's going to be Glyph here on the A side. The spike not going to be transported yet. THANE Peak, they're looking for a different kind of approach. They want a pick off, and Binks is just too quick as he takes down Miracle. Attackers down to 3 men. They still have to take down a few members of defense before they want to go for this push. Omkar will find Binks, changes up his position, and I think the time is now as Pagachill retrieve the spike. They are going to go for the B side. Dark cover comes out. Omkar's just going to take out that metal door, and it's a 3v3 situation. It could be anybody's round to take, but THANE Peak, if anything, they want to hold on to this and play it perfectly. Omkar finds Edit, and it's down to the Killjoy and Mamba here to
planted.
go for a successful retake if they want to close this game off. Only the 2 repositioning abilities available for Mamba, but there's going to be Glyph here, both attacking from the same angle, and they have to watch each other's backs. Now, Anais in market, their shots are fired. Anais is going to have an idea. He might just pick up a double. He finds one, he sprays, but Glyph takes the kill instead with only 16 HP left to spare. The spike is ticking, and Mamba trail behind Glyph. Pagachill pops out of nowhere, and so does Omkar, finishing it off with a triple kill. That's going to be 10 points for THANE Peak as they look to inch their way closer and hopefully try to get it to overtime.
Overtime is every spectator's and us as casters' absolute dream to see when these two teams are just so close by. We want more and more, just more action. Give us as much as you can get. But right now, Paratroops, they have 2 chances. They have 2 chances to just pull off one round and take this map 1 for themselves. I think what went wrong majorly in this round is that they're not entering the site together. You saw that even though Glyph got that kill onto Nice, him watching Market alone while Mamba enters the site ended up not working because you know that there are going to be multiple people on site. If you either want to clear out Market together and then enter the site, or just enter the site altogether. We'll see if Paratroops is able to build up on that because their economy is definitely hurting.
This is definitely forcing Paratroops to go for, we can see the buys here for the side of defense. A Bulldog, a Sheriff, a Spectre. Not exactly the best 1-for-1 trade here. But, both teams are going to fight it out. If anything, I do think that THANE Peak has the upper hand in this round. Miracle will find the pick up onto Edit, and that just puts them in a better spot. But Binks with the showstopper comes in at the right time and takes down Miracle. If Paratroops closes this round and takes it for themselves, it is over for map number 1, and THANE Peak would have to fight even harder in map number 2, but it
One
will
player
be a
remaining.
deserving win for the team that sticks it out, and that is going to be Anais finding the double kill, and 11 points for THANE Peak. One more and it might just be overtime. So you know what this means, TA? This next round is everything. It might bring us into overtime, or it could be Paratroops just closing it off. And if you could give, any advice to either of the teams, what would it be on how you think they should approach the next one?
THANE Peak, they have to acknowledge that, like, they have to have paid attention to the fact that Paratroops, they went for the forced buy last round. That means they have to go for a basic forced buy again this round. You know you have the weapons advantage, so you have two choices. You either play it very, very slow, or what I would prefer is that they just completely rush mid and try to take control, because they've shown themselves very capable of doing that. You see Ghost constantly dashing in through the smokes and getting that instant flick onto the opponent, showing his mechanical caliber, showing exactly why he won HOTS the last time we saw him. Now, for Paratroops though, it's the exact opposite of that. I want them to play as defensive as possible and wait for THANE Peak to come to them, because they're the ones on match point.
There.
Now here is Binks. He did let go of the boom bot and the paint shell. Not gonna get any damage off, and just taking his time, sitting here in market. THANE Peak with a very slow and calculated attack. They are looking for the A shot and A long control instead. And it looks like Killjoy's turret will be taken down on the side of defense, but Miracle finds the kill onto Binks. And THANE Peak will just fight for this overtime, for a second chance. This comeback is just massive. Paratroops though, will they have what it takes to just close this out? Omkar will be planting the spike. You see the lockdown, and it's up to all of the attackers to just kind of scramble away, and there it is. No players were detained. That is the end of the lockdown. The defenders, they are coming in heavy. Miracle, Mamba, both find kills. And THANE Peak still looking strong with the man advantage. This is going to be Omkar here on A long. He's got to be careful. Strix on Rafters, looking for that pick off. Time is ticking. The spike might just blow any moment now if they aren't quick enough to go for this defuse. Another 1-for-1 trade. Is it 3v2? Omkar here, no abilities available, but Pegachill has that Hunter's Fury. He's firing away. 1-for-1 trade. Last man standing is Edit on side of Paratroops. But THANE Peak, they succeed in bringing this to overtime.
One enemy remaining. Switching sides.
I love the way THANE Peak played that round. So the way they sort of move through mid, push into A, and then what they do, what I especially love, is they smoke out the spots, but with the smoke they use the Killjoy swarm grenades. Anai is cleaning out every single angle. You saw Glyph being pushed out of his angle by the swarm grenade. I saw Binks being pushed out of his angle with the swarm grenade, and THANE Peak just doing really well to be this calculated team on the attack, just making sure that they're covering corner by corner and then taking the side. I think one big thing that could have changed how the entire round went was Glyph getting caught out after the Killjoy ultimate, because Glyph himself had his own Killjoy ultimate, and if Glyph hadn't died and was able to put down his Killjoy ultimate, I think the round would have been completely different. But instead, THANE Peak continuing the momentum, 12-12, overtime is what we wanted, Apple.
Indeed. THANE Peak now on the side of defense, and Paratroops will have to attack. It's now down to the team with the most amount of stamina, with the best amount of consistency. This is what overtime will bring you. Now, the attackers, they are looking towards that A side, but we see that THANE Peak in a little bit of anticipation. They have put 3 members on B. Not sure if that is going to hurt them, but Omkar is going to launch out the paranoia. And Binks fires blindly, picks up a kill. So the Strix onto Anais, and THANE Peak in a little bit of a pickle. Strix here looking for his next victim on Rafters. But reload first, and the spike has yet to be planted, but it should be, and there it is, all thanks to Mamba. Now Strix here, he has the duty of watching potential defenders just come up and take these kills, this retake here. Miracle firing away, but Strix and Binks will find a kill. Pegachill picks up one, he's the last man standing. Pegachill finds a double, but it's not enough as Paratroops will pick up this round here in overtime, bringing them
Switching sides.
13 rounds altogether.
Match point.
13-12. Once again, Paratroops on the match point. Once again, THANE Peak looking to claw back. Paratroops, they take over A side in a very similar manner to the way THANE Peak did just in the previous round, and that's why I'm a little bit disappointed by THANE Peak just over aggressively peeking. Omkar especially, I feel like he sort of just walked into the bullets of Binks, expecting Binks to stop firing, which is fair, but not necessarily defensive or cautious, and that's what THANE Peak really needed to do. But now on the attack, this is where they did really excel. They went 7-5 on the attack in the second half, so they need to pull themselves back. Paratroops though, they just need to play defensive. You can see the spam coming out. They're trying to delay the push as much as possible, and they got damaged for it.
Oh, Miracle shot extremely low, but he's still going to try and look for this kill here. And Miracle, he might just find one, but he fires away. Might just do it again. He is very patient, but one wrong move, and it seems like THANE Peak might just fall deeper into a hole. Now, this is going to be Paratroops here on the side of defense, and Anais comes in, picks up the kill on Mamba, and it almost feels like these teams are thriving more on the side of attack, but Glyph takes out Anais. THANE Peak, they have to win this round. They want to stay in this running to pick map number 1 for themselves. Now, Edit and Pegachill, 1-for-1 trade. THANE Peak in a little bit of a pickle as one member is extremely low. Strix is going to change his attention onto the site, throws out the deer, and he's waiting, looking for that victim. But Pegachill, he's playing it smart, finds the kill. THANE Peak, last man standing is Omkar here, and he is just trailing behind.
Really interesting. Omkar gets one. Omkar just hiding, playing the Shadow Assassin that he's supposed to be on mid. Binks is just going for the diffuse. He got about half of it and then stepped off. Binks playing really, really smart. Binks throws out the blast back. He'll get some information. Binks will take down Omkar and will be able to finish the diffuse on time. Binks played that beautifully to get Paratroops map 1 win. Now, 14-12 for Paratroops. They're able to take down THANE Peak in map 1, which is their home map. But what I find really interesting is how close the matchup was. Only in map 1, we went to overtime, and we're able to make sure, THANE Peak able to make sure that even if they did go down, they put up a resounding fight against Paratroops. Going into map 2, which is their own map, I'm expecting a much stronger showing from THANE Peak and a full best of 3 series for us to watch.
Indeed, and look at Strix right up there on the scoreboard. That is absolutely insane, followed by Binks there. But, you know, you have to give credit to Anais here from the side of THANE Peak. Really played absolutely out of his mind. Really good in defense. But let's just go over to relive the moment. Brought to you by Ideapad Gaming 3 notebook, powered by 4000 series Ryzen processors, perfect for gaming and multitasking. And we're just going to talk a little bit more about what went down. So, you know, I feel that the skill level between THANE Peak and Paratroops are bang even, because this back and forth here, we know that they are particularly comfortable here on Ascent, despite it being Paratroops, Paratroops map pick. So, you know, to see both these teams go at it, go even into overtime. But unfortunately, you know, THANE Peak just falling short by a little bit. There has to be one winner. So Paratroops, just, you know, I think it's very minute details where Paratroops is just a little bit more proficient in. And I think that has to do with more of the game plan or their communication, because Paratroops looks a little bit more flawless. And the fact that Strix played absolutely out of his mind with multiple multi kills in different rounds.
It's the difference between when you have to tell your team that you're gonna do something or when your team expects you to do something. It's about like a millisecond of difference, but that millisecond can make like the world of difference when two teams are so close in terms of skill. THANE Peak, they had the right strategies. Paratroops, they had very similar strategies. But as you said, just because of that communication, the way Paratroops execute those strategies comes about a bit more naturally than it does to THANE Peak. Having said that, I will give THANE Peak a bit of the benefit of the doubt, given the fact that this was not their home map, and the fact that they put up such an amazing fight means that going into the next map, I expect them to execute their strategies a bit more naturally and look much more confident in the play they really want to make. And that's what we hope to see from THANE Peak. Prepared troops, they pulled off this win going into overtime, and this has to give them so much confidence going into the second map. You never know, Paratroops, they might just run away with it because they're such an aggressive team and they live on that momentum.
Indeed, you know, and especially the fact that Paratroops is kind of, you know, new on this scene, and we haven't quite seen Paratroops reach all the way up to the quarterfinals, especially, you know, with their entrance here in the Challenger Series 3. As for THANE Peak, we have seen them come back time and time and again, but I do believe that this is the furthest that THANE Peak has ever gone, and this is up here in the quarterfinals. So, if anything, I think both these teams, they have a goal. They're pretty new in this area, and they're working along. I think the team that adapts best in this high pressure environment is ultimately going to take the win. So, you know, not all hope is lost for you guys that are supporting THANE Peak. Remember, if you are supporting them, it is hashtag never peak. And congratulations once again to Paratroops for taking map number 1. If you are supporting Paratroops, it is hashtag paranormal. So now while we prep for map number 2, we'd just like to let you guys know that there is a massive sale on LG monitors, as well as registrations are now live for Series 4, which will kick off in November. So links are in the description. Click away, and every time you watch a match, you can stand a chance to win up to 200 Valorant points. Just got to keep out for Nightbot in the chat with the instructions. So without further ado, stick around, grab a snack. We'll be back with map number 2 between Paratroops and THANE Peak very shortly. Hell Ranger 1 versus 5, and this is going to be Velocity Gaming winning TEC Challengers Series.
The clock is ticking down. Velocity can feel it. Velocity have done
Attackers
it.
win.
3-2. They take the grand finals and are your undisputed champions.
Ultragear TEC Challenger Series 3, powered by Ideapad Gaming and AMD. We have ACT as our fiber partner and AFK Gaming as our media partner. So not to worry, we had a few tech difficulties, but we are back in this. Remember, it is PARATROOPS versus THANE Peak, and we saw in map number 1, PARATROOPS took that for the win. Let's head over to the map screen and see what we have in store. So, looking at both these teams, CAT it was such a close scoreline in map 1. Ascent was picked by PARATROOPS. PARATROOPS won, but the scoreline was in overtime where it was 14-12. So we know that THANE Peak have the fight in them. And as for map number 2 on Bind, this is THANE Peak's map pick. So how do you think this is going to work out for both these teams? What do you think the viewers here can expect?
I think the biggest difference between Ascent and Bind in the favor of Tane Peak is the fact that there's no mid. Like the key factor for me in the last game was Strix. Him picking the Reyna over the Jet meant that even if you forget the phenomenal performance he had in terms of frags, he has an extra utility in terms of a flash. Now, you no longer need that flash when you're going into Bind because you no longer have a mid, but you need that flash if you want to forcefully penetrate a site. Looking at the compositions though, this is a really interesting composition coming out for me for Tane Peak. They pick up the Phoenix, which I really like on Bind because of his ability to use the Molly and flashes to clear out corners. But for the side of Paratroops, it's repeat once again, just glyph changing Killjoy to Cypher. I'm really curious to see whether Paratroops, they're actually believing in the confidence in this composition, or if Tiny Peak, they just downloaded what happened from last game and they're gonna punish Paratroops for running the same thing back again. Now, you see Tiny Peak, they're on the attacking half, Paratroops on the defensive half. That's flipped around this map. Glyph, he has a very unconventional camera spot, a camera spot that is not at all likely to get caught out by the side of Tiny Peak. But Tiny Peak, they are looking to push into B side, multiple members pushing into B long, and now the spike rotating its way there as well. Tiny Peak looking to move into B side, but before they commit to it altogether, they make that noise. And they're playing it really, really slow. Both teams really cautious, Apo, just making sure they don't make a mistake even in the first round of this map.
Indeed, being able to get a little bit of damage off onto Strix on that Reyna can serve as a little bit of an advantage for Tane Peak. But here it is, we see them coming in with the attack, and Strix down to 34 HP. He's bombarded with a whole lot of spells. Paranoia even connects onto him, and Omkar's gonna burn him with the hot hands that was thrown right behind that crate here on the B side. The spike will be planted by Pegachill. This is Binks just firing away and looking for that kill. But 4v4 situation, Tane Peak, now they're in a little bit of a pickle as two members are extremely low. And we see Binks and Glyph both pick up kills. Binks, he's going for this defuse. He's going to rely on his teammates to watch his back. Mumbar SR, he's right here. He's going to fire away. He might find the kill. And the defenders, they do get the defuse off. And that is Paratroops with the first round, pistol round for themselves. 1 point.
Tiny Peak, I think they confused themselves a little bit there because first they went for the B push, right? And they got a lot of ground covered in B long, able to get that pick and then get that damage onto Strix as you mentioned. But then after that is when I really started seeing a big question mark because the spike was all the way on the other side. At that point, they could have easily chosen to leave one member at B long and make that noise while they rotate over to A. But instead, they make the long rotation onto B and commit to B, having already revealed their location, making it an easy retake for Paratroops. Now, Strix in this buy round for Paratroops, opening it up, getting that first blood, taking down Omkar. Paratroops off the bat looking really strong.
Now this is going to be Ghost here moving into left. He might just find a kill and Edit's taken out. That's what you call a Ghost. Sneaking through without making a sound, being able to put Tiny Peak in a little bit of an even playing field. Now, the spike has been planted, and these defenders, they gotta look for the retake. And Tiny Peak here, considering that it is an eco round for them, they are holding up pretty well. Paratroops not heavily investing into new guns as well. But Glyph will find the kill, and so does Binks. And that leaves only 2 members left on the side of Tane Peak, and that's gonna be Ghost and Miracle. They are in their post-plant spot, and if they are gonna be smart about this, Ghost will find a kill. Ghost finds a triple, and Binks will take him out. The defuse easily done in time, and that is going to be the second round for Paratroops. But very nicely played, right off the bat. Binks being able to pick up a total of 4 kills, in the first 2 rounds. It just shows that him as a duelist definitely stepping up.
Yeah, but talking about Duelist, Ghost also really stepped up there, getting that triple for himself. And the thing is, it's really unfortunate though, because normally what you expect from a team like Paratroops who won the first round, going into the second round, you'd expect full buys throughout. Paratroops, they didn't do that. There was only a couple members picking up the Spectres, and with a couple members surviving, they're able to pick back those Spectres. Therefore, even though Ghost did really well, he didn't really cause any economic damage to the side of Paratroops. Now, buy round, for the side of THANE Peak, almost a buy for the side of Paratroops with a couple Spectres that were saved coming through. Both teams this round is so important because Paratroops, they need to keep the tempo going in the defensive side of their away map and make sure THANE Peak don't get it. THANE Peak, they need to start pulling back. This is their map.
Now THANE Peak with the full gun buys, they have to make this round work or Paratroops might just spiral out of control, just showing their dominance like what we saw in map number 1. Both these teams are going to be neck and neck, and Bind here being the map pick for THANE Peak. It seems like, Paratroops, they have a little bit of a better start. It could be the fact that they are more comfortable here on the side of defense, but nonetheless, they are doing well for themselves. Now, THANE Peak, they are gathered on A shot. We hear the run it back about to come through, and there is the hot hand. Binks here won't find a kill as Omkar takes him down, rendering that ult very useful. Mamba here will find a double kill and a good bit of defense. That's going to be a triple for Mamba, and Glyph will be lurking around heaven. Paratroops have to close down the last members on the side of THANE Peak. A little bit of deja vu. Ghost once again alive, and Omkar as well. He has gone for this rotation. They took the transporter, and there it is. The spike is going to be planted with only 10 seconds left to spare on the timer. And Paratroops once again have to go for this retake, not something that they find tough, but Omkar will find a kill. Edit with a beautiful shock dart. Lands right onto Omkar, finds that kill, 1v3 situation, and Glyph is going to wrap that up with an easy defuse. Third round for Paratroops as they look pretty strong here on the side of defense.
Yeah, Paratroops looking really, really strong. And the thing is, for the side of THANE Peak, what I just got to notice is that they've had a bit of switcheroo in terms of which player plays what kind of agent. You can see right here on the instant replay skin, it's Omkar getting the kill on Binks on the Phoenix. Omkar, he played Omen previously and now he's on the Duelist. Miracle, from playing a Duelist like Raze, he switched to playing Cypher. And the side of Anais, who was extremely good on that Sentinel that was Killjoy, now switching over to the Omen. I have to wonder that since the biggest thing that we thought that was in the favor for Paratroops was their communication, does switching up your agents in such a manner that every player has a different role now just sort of clog those communications a little bit more? Because you can see the effect of that just a little bit here. The run it back used, but no backup coming out of it, no ground gained out of it, means that it's Paratroops to the easy 3-0.
Indeed, and THANE Peak here, they are going to force the buy. We do see a couple of Bulldogs for them. So THANE Peak, they have to make this one work. They are forcing this investment. They're not going to go for that eco. So let's see what they are going to be able to make out of this situation. We do see 4 members just by the tip of a shot. It looks like they will send their drone out to get a little bit of information. And Mamba here, he was spotted out, but he's just going to throw some dark covers and the paranoia just to stop that full-on invade. But that is going to happen. We see Strix coming in with the rotation, but Edit will find the double kill. And so this Ghost is down to a 3v3. THANE Peak Ghost is not particularly healthy, but he have the abilities in hand. And he does get tagged through the wall bang. And this is the defenders looking for the retake.
Strix gets that kill onto a really low Ghost and makes it a man advantage for the side of Paratroops. Binks with another, and that'll be 3v1. Just Miracle left. This will be an absolute miracle if he can pull this off, because Paratroops playing this really, really well. Strix covering well angle while his teammates defend him. And Glyph will take down Miracle. The defuse will go through, and that's 4-0 for Paratroops. This is what I was worried about, Apple, because since both of these teams are so good on Ascent, and since both of these teams so new to this high pressure environment of being in this lower bracket, facing elimination, when you made it so far to the top 12 aspect of the tournament, both of these teams, I was feared that the first map just might end up deciding what both of these teams are feeling in the moment and how the gameplay comes out, because Paratroops, you can see that momentum riding from their overtime win going here, and THANE Peak, they're suffering because of it.
Indeed, and here we do see an eco coming out from the side of the attackers. They have to force this. Unfortunately, the last round didn't quite work in their favor. But PARATROOPS is just so quick when it comes to rotation. Even though, the fact that Strix and Edit, they were the last ones to come, they're still relatively level-headed, and that's going to be Edit again, showing himself, getting a double kill onto Pagachil and Omkar. That is massive for his team, and THANE Peak here, they don't have as superior guns, but picking up one of the kills will be great. But Strix and Glyph, they are going to find Miracle Angles. And last man standing is Anais, as he has to defend for his life. Anais just backing away here with the ghost in hand. Fires, 8 HP left, and he's not dead yet. He does find Edit, and that is going to be Glyph wrapping it up. But, Anais being that member, always in a very, pressurizing situation, being able to find a kill or not, that is his strength. Previously, we saw him on the Killjoy, and you just talked about the fact that, hey, some of these players are changing up their agent picks, and that is very much needed because every single map, there is a different bit of strategy. And what we can see here is that THANE Peak on bind here with the teleporters, it's kind of like there's a little bit of a disconnect with their attacking. We don't see massive rotations yet. We just see full-on attacks, and I don't know if that is the way to go. Considering that they only have one flash. If they did run a breach, I think they could be a little bit more fancy that way with the surprise attack. But I think they have to put a little bit more thought, a little bit more calculation with how they want to approach these rounds. And as for PARATROOPS, it's kind of like they're having a ball, just sitting back, defending, and their firepower is really strong as well as their accuracy. So THANE Peak, let's see what they are going to do here, considering that they will have full investment, and Anais will have that as well. Glyph will find the kill, and so does Binks. But THANE Peak falling one by one.
I mean, both of them were spamming through the smokes, but it was two members for THANE Peak. Yet it's Binks that finds the kill. Just nifty dodges coming through against those shock darts, making sure that the game sense on this guy, making sure that he has the crosshair placement on point to get that kill. Binks just absolutely huge in this game. Now 5v3 for PARATROOPS. In their favor, 5-0 for PARATROOPS. This is the buy round for THANE Peak as well. You see that they've already got an op 2. Really expensive round. Run it back, used by Omkar. Will find one kill, will not find another. And will puts himself back. Binks with a nice get the kill onto Omkar. Binks! Now you're just
not do that, Binks.
Wow.
Wow, Binks, he did manage to find the knife. Now that is just dirty. But that is 6 rounds strong for PARATROOPS, and they're holding down this defense really well. They're very quick with their rotations as well. You see it's a 5v3 situation. They still have 2 members situated on the A side, and I think the key to PARATROOPS being so strong in defense is that they are not standing in offensive positions. They are standing in defensive positions where, hey, if my first few shots are not going to connect, I still have that space to pull it back and look for a reposition. And it's working great in their favor. And THANE Peak here, they aren't able to kind of find their ground. I think they just gotta do what they did before. Create a little bit of ruckus on one side and then go for the massive rotation. It could be the fact that, hey, high pressure, not exactly comfortable. But Omkar is going to find first blood this time onto Binks, taking down one of the strong members on the side of PARATROOPS. We hear the Hunter's Fury coming out. We see kills going left, right, and center down to this 3v3. And Strix firing away. Omkar will pick up a kill, and so does Anais. And this might just be a little bit of redemption here for THANE Peak. Last man standing is Glyph. He's up in heaven. He does have a little bit of information. Pagachil will get that spike planted. And this is going to be Glyph taking his time, taking out that recon bolt. Glyph inching in closely. He has to play mind games with his positioning. He fires away, and now they know where exactly he is. A triple kill to end off this round for Omkar. First round on the board for THANE Peak.
So the biggest difference in the way THANE Peak played that round and the way they've been playing the rounds before this is that they use the utility of the Phoenix to actually enable multiple members to go in. You see the firewall being set up to let his team push into elbow and making sure that even if they don't want to push into lamps, they have this excess area that they can push into. And then more importantly, the flashes. As we mentioned earlier, they're not running a breach, right? They have to rely instead on the Omen and Phoenix flashes, which are very individual and very difficult to set up flashes. So the fact that they're starting to do that shows me a lot of promise, because we saw how they were able to pull back the scoreline for themselves in the first half of Ascent when they got a win streak going. So for THANE Peak, it's all about getting that win streak going and building up on that, because they're on the side of attack. If they can just get like 4 or 5 rounds, that should be enough.
A little bit of deja vu, you know, in map 1, Paratroops did secure the first 6 rounds, and now we see THANE Peak kind of, you know, rolling back. Whether they're able to kind of, you know, get the scoreboard even is solely up to them and how they look to go for this approach. Now, Ghost dodges the paranoia just by a little bit here, and there is a dark cover. That means that Ghost has information on where one is. We hear the showstopper. It does fly, but no one's gonna die. Anais and Mamba both pick up a kill, 1 for 1. Now it's down to this 4v4. Ghost is on site and very much ready to take down anyone who comes into sight. And there it is, the first contender. Ghost firing away. Miracle also picks up a kill, and Ghost comes out victorious. Now Strix will find Pegachill. 3v2. Paratroops in a little bit of a pickle. We see the rotation come in from Glyph as well, as they are hanging in heaven and the alleyway. Glyph just making his way slowly but surely, and Glyph firing. THANE Peak, they've got to hold on to this. The Empress popped by Strix, and let's see if he'll be able to pick up all these multi-kills here, CA.
If he has his ultimate too, so if he can just get 1 kill, he can pop out the neural theft and get a ton of information for Strix to be able to use the Empress effectively. Both of them covering each corner, making sure that they're not pushing in aggressively. Now the diffuse will come through, and the fake making sure that even though Omkar gets taken down by Glyph, Strix gets the return kill. Strix gets another, but with the time going down, he needs to go for the diffuse, and Ghost, he's just playing this extremely patiently. Ghost will take down Strix and get that round for THANE Peak. Beautifully played by THANE Peak. Very defensive post-plant positions, making sure they're like, we will give up site control because the way we planted the spike ensures that we can just take a quick peek and get you off the diffuse.
I like the idea of Glyph and Strix, you know, kind of splitting up, but that was a really good flash from Omkar. It did secure 1 kill on the Glyph, but here Strix almost making it through. Beautiful triple kill in that round, but Ghost, that patience, and when he popped out to take that kill, it was just a really good way to play around the timer on the spike. So that is going to be the second round for THANE Peak, and Paratroops, they are still healthy and they will go for the full buy, and we do see the economy picking up from THANE Peak as Ghost finds the kill onto Strix. And this is where the bounce back is. So, you know, THANE Peak, they might lose the rounds, you know, in the start, but it's almost like they can kind of analyze and adapt and then figure out what it is they have to do. This is going to be big to take down Miracle, and Paratroops has to do exactly the same towards THANE Peak. And here it is, Glyph will find Omkar. 4v2, THANE Peak once again caught in a little bit of a pickle. This buy map here will be the true test of your ability. And Pegachill, very much ready, and so is Anais. He's going to drop that dark cover, and we do see 3 defenders stacked up on the side of B, but they might just disperse their defenses a little bit more. Anais lurking with the spike. He has retrieved it. Just going to back away. But overall, both teams, you know, the fact that Paratroops has maintained this 4-round lead over THANE Peak, I'm not sure why exactly they are starting to
30
drop these
seconds
rounds,
left.
but hey, you know, it kind of happens, and we do see that Strix has gone down, so it's up to Glyph, Finks, Edit, and Mamba to continue this bit of defense. So THANE Peak with a very slow entrance. Mamba picks up a kill, and this pretty much secures the round for Paratroops as they look to stop any kind of consecutive round wins for THANE Peak.
Spike is planted, and Anais and Sova, Pegachill looking to pull off some sort of miracle for themselves in this round. But Paratroops, 4 of them, all of them approaching from different angles, closing in. Pegachill, he gets a kill onto Glyph, immediately answered back by Binks and Mamba though. Get that round win for Paratroops. Now, I think the key difference between the way THANE Peak is approaching the rounds ends up being in like a point I brought up earlier, which is the role swap coming in. Now Omkar, he was the player, like Omkar and Miracle, they were the players carrying the spike earlier. And you can see in this round, when it starts, it's Glyph who is initially carrying the spike. Sorry, Miracle who is initially carrying the spike. But the fact that Miracle is lagging behind on B long, whereas Omkar is pushing forward on B long, means that there's some sort of communication gap between them. And one person getting caught out means that Omkar just left in B long, covered by both sides by enemies, goes down himself. And that sort of communication gap, I feel like, is caused by that switcheroo in agents. Like, not even switcheroo in agents, more like switcheroo in roles, because no longer is the sentinel playing a sentinel. With the sentinel playing an initiator, you need the initiator to be able to call out exactly when the smokes are going out or exactly when the push is happening. And even though THANE Peak, they're a really good team and the communication does happen, a millisecond late communication means that the round is done.
What's really interesting is that this round, Strix has decided to buy an off suicidal defense there. Strix will find the first kill onto Ghost, and this is Miracle running away from for his life with the Hunter's Fury from Edit, picks up the kill onto Pegachill, and Strix will find Miracle. He swapped out his gun, and that's gonna be a 4K for Strix! Can you imagine investing in that off, finding the first kill and picking up that Vandal and picking up the next 3 kills? Strix is playing out of his mind here. Flawless round, easy defuse for the defenders. Strix indeed is that, he's that guy from the team. You know, there's always this one player that kind of just steals the spotlight, has these flashy plays, and Strix is just so consistent with these amazing abilities. It's just absolutely nuts. It's totally understandable why he's on this radar, and I feel, you know, Strix is kind of the reason why THANE Peak is struggling a little bit here. You know, if they can look to try to close him out and it just be a little bit more coordinated, I think they could try to, you know, get the ball back in their court.
So Reina, when she's in her Empress and she gets a kill, one of her voice lines is "feed me," and that's exactly what THANE Peak is doing right now, because Strix is just like "feed me," continuously taking the kills. If all the way from map 1 to map 2, once again he's leading the score charts in terms of kills. Strix just popping off right here, and as I say that, Anais finds a return kill. I was about to say 5v4, but Anais and Omkar each finding a kill means it's actually THANE Peak with the advantage. THANE Peak, they need these last 2 rounds, and with the run it back, Omkar trying to do just that for THANE Peak.
Indeed, and we do see that the attackers are moving closer towards the A side. Pegachill picks up the kill onto Strix, and so does Mamba. He will find Pegachill, and the spike looking for an A-shot plant. This is where THANE Peak, they are looking to get this round for themselves. The 3v2, and Anais will find Mamba, and it's all down to Glyph. He might go for the save, but THANE Peak definitely trying to bring it back, and this is, you know, it's almost going to be the side swap. If anything, this is THANE Peak's time to try and rake up a few rounds if they want to look for that comeback in the second half. The spike is ticking. Glyph looks like he is going to go for this challenge indeed. And there it is, Glyph making his way very slowly. He's on site, sees the dark cover come out. And Glyph, he's going to be caught in a crossfire, and Omkar will be the one to pick up that kill. But third round on the board for THANE Peak.
Coming up huge in that round means that THANE Peak have a chance to make it to magic number 4. Omkar getting multiple kills, and even though the run it back doesn't actually get any kills, it gets a lot of information for his team that they're able to utilize in their A push. Now, going into the last round, for THANE Peak, they have the ultimates of Anais and Pegachill up as well as Ghost. What this means is that they have the Omen ultimate up that they can really use to like throw in a bamboozle against their opponents. So I want to see Ghost and like Anais just lurking in one side, looking for picks and not committing at all with the spike, so they can use that Omen ultimate to get something done. But Paratroops as well, they have the Cypher ultimate. Strix has his ultimate, so the Empress might just dominate her opponents right here.
Oh, that is such a good point. The fact that you brought up the ultimates, and we do hear that Mamba has used it, but will it be for, you know, a good cause? And the fact that this is the last round in this half, they're gonna make it work, and Strix will pick up that kill onto Pegachill. THANE Peak might not be able to secure this last round in the first half, as Strix makes his way over back onto the A side. This is gonna be Ghost. He's got to check all angles, and there it is. He is on site. The paranoia coming out from Omkar. When Strix finds the kill onto Miracle. Ghost knows what he has to expect. He sprays, he gets the kill, but Binks with the nade. Last man standing is Anais. He tries to teleport away, but Mamba's too quick. I am the Omen. I'm gonna take you down instead. And the first half ends off with a dominating performance from Paratroops with a total of 9 rounds, and THANE Peak with 3. So now in this side swap, definitely THANE Peak has to play. Like I'm gonna place bets that THANE Peak will excel on the side of defense just a little bit more, just to get, you know, the game a little bit closer and whatnot. Because if THANE Peak is looking for this comeback, they have to excel here when it comes to defending. But you know, Paratroops, they're looking pretty strong. And especially Strix, he is on a rampage, a total of 16 kills. That is absolutely nuts. So clean slate, pistol round, it's all about the accuracy.
The really curious thing for me is that right now, THANE Peak, they're choosing to pair up both the Cypher and the Sova down in B. That means there's no way to actually get info down in A. And if Paratroops was to rush A, it would be an easy task. But now, it's actually Paratroops Strix brought down really low by the tags coming in. Has 13 HP. If he can find a kill, he can overheal. But with just 13 HP is going to be a tough task. Paratroops, they're looking to commit to site A. Omkar getting the first kill. First blood for the Phoenix. Strix moving in aggressively, gets taken down by Nias. Ghost takes down Mamba, and as you said, THANE Peak just on point on defense. Binks throws a spanner though in the works, and with Edit getting that shock dart kill, he'll make it 3 versus 2. Still THANE Peak with the advantage, but Paratroops fighting.
Indeed, and it seems like THANE Peak is about to come true as Pegachill picks up the kill onto Edit. Binks with only 31 HP. He is the last one standing. Will he find the kill? Not quite, as Onka wallbangs it through with that Ghost onto that head. And that is going to be the 4th round for THANE Peak, but they're definitely picking up. And you can see that, you know, they're a lot more coordinated here on the side of defense, especially the fact that they managed to stop the full-on attack. Could be a little bit of sloppy work from Paratroops, but this is a great start. But, you know, what really counts is the consecutive round wins that THANE Peak desperately need to stay in this competition here in the best of 3. Because Paratroops won the first map. If anything, this map is even more important for THANE Peak.
Yeah, this is THANE Peak fighting for their lives in their tournament. This is their map. This is their time to make a shine. And with that pistol round win, they start recovering the grab. This will be an eco round for this side of Paratroops. So this is a chance for THANE Peak to push it back further. We'll take a quick look at the scorecard, see what exactly loadouts the THANE Peak have, because as I mentioned, Ghost with that Marshall, really interesting pickup. We'll have to see if he'll make it work, because Paratroops, they're heavily pushing into B site here. Miracle getting 1, Miracle getting 2. The Cypher holding it down for THANE Peak.
Oh, Pegachill is down to 6 HP. He managed to pick up a kill, but Binks is going to take him out. And Omka finds one, and so does Anais. But what is this? THANE Peak stepping up on the side of defense. We have to keep in mind that, you know, Paratroops went for their eco as just, you know, standard procedure, rule of thumb. But THANE Peak here being able to bring themselves up to, you know, the scoreboard on the scoreboard with 5 rounds. It kind of eases the pressure off in this comeback, but it's still quite a bit of work to do. But that was a good bit of defending from Miracle. Pegachill did manage to, you know, take away a bit of health from the attackers. But ultimately, decent cleanup. And this round is where it will count, as we will see full buys from both sides. We do see the Spectres carried on to this round on the side of THANE Peak. But Paratroops, they might just gun them down. But Ghost finds the double right by the fountain. That's going to be a triple coming out from Ghost. Wow, he is stepping up right at the time that he needs to be. He's competing with the #1 fragger on his team, which is Omkar with 14 kills. Both of them, they have it. Last 2 attackers lurking on A short and hookah. Let's see how this ends up.
I was just gonna say as the round started, I mean, I'll finish that thought as we finish this round, but Omkar getting that kill onto Binks basically guarantees this round for THANE Peak. But I will not take it away from Strix. He's on the Reyna. If there was ever an agent and a player to pull off a 1v5, it would be the Reyna. It's going to be an impossible task though, with him just waiting in lamps, waiting for someone to come up. So I'll take this second to talk about the fact that, so the way THANE Peak played that round, right, really interesting to me, because it shows mind games being played between them and Paratroops. They predicted the B push to be coming in. They move Ghost all the way from A side down to B side with 3 members in B side. A Cypher site with 3 members is never a site you get to see, because normally on Bind especially, you expect Cypher to be able to hold it down. The fact that they keep 3 members in B shows that they predict THANE P, they predict Paratroops to come towards B, and then that B long push, just wrapping it up with a nice bow. Ghost getting those 3 kills. THANE Peak playing it really well. Love to see that creativity come out for them as they fight for their life.
Indeed, you know, they're not even going to chase for the last member, as they have to. They don't want to die. They don't want to afford to lose, you know, their weapon. So they're going to give that up, and Strix is going to go for the save. But that was a really good round for THANE Peak. And, you know, something like that, you see Ghost here picking up this triple is just absolutely insane. That just takes away so so much of the pressure from his team. 6 is to 9. THANE Peak is looking for a sure comeback, or at least they are not giving Paratroops an easy time. What Paratroops has kind of missed is that they don't look as coordinated on these attacks. They've got to look for a way to combo their abilities, you know, to just be a little, to play together more as one unit. And we see here that Paratroops, they're not going to have exactly full buys. They're going for half. We see a few light armors. Strix will carry on that Vandal save from the previous round. And a Sheriff for Binks. Now, we do see the attack coming for the B side, and the rotation coming in for the defenders. Miracle will pick up the first kill onto Strix. This is Anais firing away. He will find Edit, and there it is. There's a second kill for Anais, and Volkan chimes in as well. Last man standing against Glyph, and Pegachill ends it all. Wow, Paratroops will have to go for the equal once again. I do think.
So that round with Reyna saving the gun, I think Paratroops will be able to afford a buy with the lose streak money coming in. But right now, with THANE Peak winning 4 rounds in a row, it's just not some sort of tempo advantage you want to give a defendant side. Because for the defenders, you don't really have to change much. You have to stay true to what you're already doing. The onus is not on you to try to make the proactive moves. It's on the attackers. And when you're winning on defense, it suddenly feels so much better. But now, you see, on the mini-map, THANE Peak stacking 4 members at B, going a bit too risky with those mind games with that gamble. Paratroops, they're on A. If they just decide to commit, this would be a free site for them. And Bing's doing just that, throwing out those satchel packs. Bing's flying in like a madman. Not able to find anyone just yet through the smokes. But this does mean THANE Peak, they're able to take site control. They should be able to get the spike down. Glyph getting that first blood onto THANE Peak will mean that Paratroops, they have the man advantage and they have the spike planted, but they don't have full site control just yet.
Oh, and there it is. Ghost tried to go for the backstep, but Mamba is going to take him away. But Anais, he's coming. He's going to dash out that paranoia. And Mamba with the defense. He's stopping the backstep. Glyph going to find Miracle, and Glyph with the triple. Taking out Pegachill. This is going to be Paratroops reclaiming their throne in what looked like a really good round, you know. They attacked this so quick onto the A site. And I felt that, you know, THANE Peak, if they were a little bit quicker on the backstep, they might have been able to, you know, pick up those kills. But Mamba, it was so important for Mamba to just watch the back here and pick up those 2 kills. It was insane, and that just allowed Paratroops to just grab a hold of this round. Flawless, in fact. Nobody lost their lives, and I will be a little bit worried for THANE Peak here. But let's see what they will do. Both teams still healthy with economy. They will be getting those well-deserved buys. Now this is going to be Binks pushing through Hookah. Miracle here on elbow with the spy cam. He's got that information. He's got to translate that over to Paratroops. Now Mamba is going to pop that ultimate. And there is 1 kill from Binks in the nade. And he's firing away. Here comes the showstopper. He is looking for blood. Binks with the showstopper. Not going to find anyone just yet. But we can see that the spike is being planted. Binks picks up a kill with Miracle. And this is Paratroops wanting to close this down. They felt that THANE Peak has had enough glory. Pegachill picks up a kill. So does Omkar. It goes THANE Peak with a massive comeback. This could be the time. Omkar throws out the curveball, but Glyph is going to find a double. It's down to this 1v1, and Glyph with the triple. Glyph, how did you do that? On the Cypher, in attack, Glyph was the man for Paratroops. Absolutely insane. What was that performance? It was like Paratroops had it, then THANE Peak came back with a massive 4K. The whole team just picked up a kill for each of themselves, and then it was just down to this 1v1. Pegachill and Glyph came out victorious. Now, that round was so important, I feel, for THANE Peak's kind of like momentum, but Paratroops managed to get it, and I really want to see how this is going to translate into this next round.
I mean, Paratroops, they come so close to dropping that round, but Glyph once again, and for me, Glyph not just in the previous round, but even in the round before that came up huge. It's Ghost with the Opto getting the first kill onto Glyph, the clutch master. Omkar with the flash will take Strix down, will get taken down himself by Binks. Paratroops looking to aggressively push into A, will take the TP now and move into B, but Anais, he's just waiting for Edit right there, takes him down, and Paratroops getting caught off guard right here, not looking to push in aggressively, but not actually committing to the site, meaning that they're just all over the place. And THANE Peak, they're able to just easily pick them off one by one. And even though Glyph and Mamba did brilliantly in the previous few rounds, it's THANE Peak in this round. Ghost, especially with the off, just pulling through.
Ghost finding that shot, last member standing. And Pekachu looking for that last man, and that's going to be Anais picking up the last kill onto Binks. And this is THANE Peak fighting for their lives to stay in this competition. I do hope to see a map number 3 here, CA. But Paratroops, they are being taken by surprise by THANE Peak. But however, the 3-round lead, Paratroops has a lot to do. You know, the fact that map 1 went into overtime, we could expect that the overtime will come again here in map 2. But that round, THANE Peak just really came through, and Ghost with that operator is just mean. So if we're going to take a quick look at the scoreboard, Glyph stepped up massive. He does have the neural step ready, so that could be a key component, as well as Edit with the Hunter's Fury. On the side of THANE Peak, they do have the Jet Ultimate and Anais with the ulti as well. Now Bink's just going to take a step into the teleporter here, and he's going to take a little bit of a chill from what is suggested to be a wait and bait.
Just waiting for any sort of rotation to come through that teleporter. But with his team moving into, with Paratroops moving into B site, he just decides to back up his team. But Paratroops, they're the ones going down. Omkar finding a kill and another going down, meaning it's 5v3 for the side of THANE Peak. Strix though gets a return, and now Paratroops, they're sort of stuck in that hookup position. They need to rotate, and they're doing just that.
And goes, finds the kill onto Edit. He was holding that spot for the longest time, and that Sova was unlucky. Now the spike has been dropped, and we can see the rotations coming in from the side of defense. The shot is not going to connect, unfortunately, onto Binks. And that is going to be Ghost, still holding the same position here.
30 seconds left.
30 seconds left on the clock, and the spike has yet to be planted. Ghost firing away. He's looking for that kill. Must be frustrated, but Pekachu comes in, finds the kill. Last member standing is going to be Strix. And what will he do in this circumstance? It looks like he's not going to go for the save.
10 seconds
actually,
left.
yes, he is going for the save, but he will find the kill onto Omkar and Strix. This will be a round for THANE Peak, who successfully manages to secure the 9th round. This is absolutely insane. THANE Peak, it's almost like they are new. They have kind of had a mental reset, and they're just really comfortable here on defense. And I love to see it. The fact that, you know, hey, they might have identified that attack is not our thing here on Bind. But now that we are in defense, we're going to play to our best ability and try to stay in this quarterfinals best of 3.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all I can hear right now is overtime. Overtime, because I want this with both their teams. They're so close. 11-9, and even the rounds, the way they end, they're so close. It comes down to the last member standing. But THANE Peak, they did this similarly in map 1. They were down to like about 9 points. They're able to pull it back once again in this map, trying to do just that. Ghost with the op has been absolutely stellar, and he will look to push it again. But Paratroops, they're looking to aggressively push into site B. The run it back from Omkar does not reveal any people, and Miracle getting that kill will throw out the neural theft. It's 5v3. Paratroops, they push into site B, but they lost members for it.
There's just so much chaos going off. We can hear so many ultimates being popped, and Strix, he still has the Empress in hand. And Paratroops down to only 3 members as THANE Peak pull off a massive amount of defense. Ghost takes down Edit, and the spike has been dropped. And it looks like they gotta go for this retrieve. Last member standing is Mamba. He does drop the dark cover, retrieves the spike. He might go for this. It's a 1v5 situation. It is going to be tough, but angry members of THANE Peak gonna swarm Mamba like a gang of angry bees. And Pekachu here will get the last kill. Team Ace for THANE Peak as they look to bring it back. They are giving Paratroops a run for their money.
This is why we see Tiny Peak picking up Bind because, as you mentioned, even though they might not be as comfortable on the attacking half, the way
Yeah.
they play the defense half is just absolutely on point. Every single time you see Ghost, if the push by Paratroops is on to B, Ghost is the last man standing on A, holding it down, making sure that they're not rotating all of their members from A, making sure that they do not get bamboozled, and that's the sort of like discipline I love to see from a team. Thane Peak with the resilience to make sure that they come down from 9 to 3 to 11 to 10 now, giving Paratroops a run from their money. Paratroops, they're running it back. They want to go to B site again. It's Mamba getting the opening kill onto his clone in Anais. And Paratroops, they're pushing into B aggressively. The Neural Theft will come out for their side and will reveal. And with the trap fires as well, Tiny Peak knows exactly what's up, but Paratroops, they're not giving them any space to breathe.
Spike planted.
Now the spike has been planted and the defender's gonna go for this retake. Paratroops, they are coming back around. They realize that the scoreboard is getting a little bit too close for comfort and they are looking for their rightful place. They want to maintain this dominance over Thane Peak, and that's going to be Vix picking up the kill on Miracle. Pikachu finds Strictness on this Glyph. He gets a kill, but Glyph will ultimately just seal the deal for Paratroops in what is match point as they inch closer to make it through to the semi-finals.
It's so nerve-wracking. Like, just when you think one team... Like, just when you think one team, they've sort of taken the tempo and move forward, and they're gonna, like, push it down the other team's throat, the other team's just like, no, 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 we're still here, we're still gonna maintain our advantage, and Paratroops doing just that, able to push themselves to match point 12 to 10 now. Thane Peak, they need to pull out all the stops. They need to be as creative as they can get because this and the next round has to be their last stand now. Ghost will take down the Sova drone. Will take down Strix as well, and that's out. That was clean.
Ghost, that was a good shot, but Biggs will get the return kill. We hear the showstopper is about to come. Anais takes down Glyph, and Biggs is looking for a kill desperately. The boombox goes boom. He knows someone is there, and Biggs picks up the kill onto Omkar. Down to a 3v3. The spike will take its way over to the B side. Teleporter plays from Paratroops. They have an idea of what they want to do, and this is Pikachu just rotating with Glyph behind him. And there it is.
You see, on the mini.
Oh my goodness, it's just so nerve-wracking. I'm at the edge of my seat, and here it is. Bings finds the kill onto Miracle, and Anais. A bit of trigger control. Anais with the triple kill. That was massive, and now he has spotted the last member. He knows where the spike has dropped. He can play with time. And this is absolutely insane. Anais stepping up once again. He changes his position, and Anais will find the 4K onto Bings. Thane Peak, they are fighting for overtime. They are not about to give up. This is Thane Peak for you if you are supporting them. Remember, it is hashtag never peak.
Oh my god, I mean...
That was nuts.
Yeah, the mind games from both the teams first. From the side of Paratroops, they take the A to B teleporter, but they don't commit to side B. They go for the full wraparound into A, but Anai is like, no, 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 I am in your head. I know exactly what is about to go down. Sits in that corner and waits. Was so patient, is able to clutch that round with the 4K for his team, push them to 12-11, Thane Peak with yet another chance to push it to overtime. Can they do it? I definitely believe they can, but Paratroops, they have the capability to surprise, and they will need to surprise if they look to take this match point home for themselves. Once again, Paratroops, they're pushing towards B. Thane Peak, 3 members holding it down though. This is the last stand.
Oh, that is an angry Biggs. He finds the kill on Pikachu, and Thane Peak in a little bit of a pickle. They can't afford to lose this, and Anais is going to find a double, and Mamba's going to take him down. It's all up to this 2v3 as Paratroops. They are looking a little bit more bright to close this off. Thane Peak, they leave it all in the hands of Ghost and Omkar. Ghost has the Blade Storm in hand. Omkar, he's just gonna wait for the right time. Spike is ticking, but Binks sneaks through, picks up the kill onto Omkar, and that is a wrap. Paratroops make it over to the semifinals in what was one of the closest best of threes here we've got in the quarterfinals. Absolutely nuts. Thane Peak and Paratroops, they went for each other's head, and unfortunately there will only be one winner.
I mean, yeah, I think it couldn't be better said because that's really unfortunate. I feel like Thane Peak, the scoreline definitely does do them justice. It was 14 to 12 and then 13 to 11. So close, but Binks Binks, this madman, what I wanted to see from Binks is just flying through the air, being that carefree raise that he's supposed to be, and he's able to do just that. 256 ACS, 22 kills. Binks really stepped up in this matchup, and Bind is where you need to be scared of Binks, because Binks, so explosive, will just throw the grenade in your face and then pull out a rocket launcher to boot.
It's really good to see, that paratroops, they kind of pulled through. THANE Peak gave them such a tough fight. Before we talk more about it, let's go straight into Relive the Moment, brought to you by Ideapad Gaming 3 notebook powered by 4000 series Ryzen processors, perfect for gaming and multitasking. So, two maps. Two maps. Never mind who picked which map. But that was one of the closest skill matchups I have ever seen. And I don't think it is, the fact that THANE Peak and Paratroops really, the score lines were both so close, it was really anybody's game at any point. But ultimately, I think the consistency coming out from Paratroops and Binks and Strix, the two duelists on the side of Paratroops, were just so dominant in their performance, being able to pick up multi kills. There were some rounds where you could give credit to just them completely. They picked up kills when it was really crucial. But what you have to remember was Glyph. He may be on the cipher, he may be, on a more utility based role, but Glyph had some massive clutches. And could you imagine if he didn't pull that off? TANE P could have easily rolled over Paratroops. It's just insane. I felt that, the overall teamwork from Paratroops was just absolutely nuts. And, it's a bit unfortunate that TANE P, we will not get to see them again, but I do hope that they try to compete because they are a team that, everyone should fear as well. They put up a great fight here, CA.
Yeah, they're not just a team everyone should fear, but they're also a team you can look up to because, as we mentioned earlier, this team, TANE Peak, we've seen them progress from Series 1 to 3 in such a spectacular fashion, continuously upgrading, continuously making themselves better, and continuously not just improving as individuals, but also a team, now able to make it all the way to the top 12 half in over 200 teams. Now, that's a feat that you can be proud of, and I'm hoping TANE Peak will be just that and come back into the next series. Paratroops, take nothing away from them. This is a brand new team as well. They're
Same, yeah.
on point. Yeah. I think I completely agree. I think you've capped it off really well. The teamwork for Paratroops, especially the communication coming in so huge, because while people like Binks and Strix, the duelists, absolutely pop off, who we don't get to see are members like Glyph, Mamba, and especially Ede. The way this team is set up to enable the duelists through that supportive playstyle coming in, always on point with the paranoia was Mamba, always on point with the recon bolt and the hunter's fury Ede, and then Glyph. Do I even need to say the number of clutches this man was able to pull through? Just beautiful play from Paratroops, showing a level of consistency that I'm honestly lovingly surprised to see in a brand new team.
Indeed, paratroops, they are the new kids on the block. We haven't seen them in, let alone the top 60, now top 8. Like, we have not seen them this time. They made their debut here in the Challengers Series 3, and it's just great to watch how far they have come, how much work they have put in. They are a force to be reckoned with. Paratroops, absolutely great performance today. And big ups to Binks, Strix, Glyph. Wow, some insane plays. One for the books. Definitely going to the highlights. But that is all we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. That was absolutely insane. But remember, this is not the last time of the quarterfinals. We still have the quarterfinals lower bracket tomorrow. I believe it will be around 4 or 5 p.m. and 8 or 9 p.m. So remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you get notifications whenever we are live and you don't miss out on any of the action. Remember, we have a massive sale on LG monitors. Links are in the description. Buff your setup up and make sure that your gaming is comfortable. And also remember that Series 4 registrations are now live. You can grab your buddies and your teammates and sign up for the action that will start in November. So that's all for today. Without further ado, my name is Apollonia. I was your host and caster, and joining me was CA, caster, and analyst. And we hope to see you guys tomorrow. Take care, good night, and happy gaming.
I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast. And every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars, driving somewhere in your car. We can sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, under the stars. And we don't need to do the things we don't wanna do. Baby, while we're young, baby, while we're